What's happening, sports fans? We welcome you back to another San Diego Prep Insider. New windows installed in the studio. Things are a little bit nicer. I don't know if this has made any difference, but allegedly it's supposed to sound a little bit better in here now, and the lighting is supposed to be better. Bodie DeSilva from Scorebook Live and Tommy Morris from San Diego Prep Insider joining us. Bodie, like I said, is here on behalf of Scorebook Live. They are the official digital content provider of the entire state, but we only care about Bodie. Our intern,
quietly enjoying a bone.
she is about a quarter of the way done. She has slowed down on those a little bit.
That's
thankfully.
literally like our time clock.
Yes.
Until the show has to end.
Our show takes the duration of one pork skin twist. Is the brand that we need to sponsor us. We got.
It's basically like a hot dog. What was it, bacon wrapped hot dog?
I call them a taquito.
Okay.
It's basically like a pork rolled taco. We've got the halfway mark now of the high school football season is in the books, and actually not looking horrible. As I was ringing the alarm bell a lot early on in the season about we're going to have a lot of teams struggling to have like even 8 games. I don't think we're quite as red line as I thought I would be at this point. So, nothing necessarily to worry about that. We got some change in the top 10s. We've got a couple of undefeated teams remaining. We've got some game predictions to get to. And then I want to ask you guys a couple of sort of easy to fall into one of two camp type questions. Do you want to start with top 10? Bodie, you guys at Scorebook Live have your own top 10, so do you want to tease the top 5? Tommy, you like going 10 to 1. Where do we want to start?
We go top 10. I'm good with that.
Tommy, 10 to 1?
So my teams have not changed, but the order has.
I feel like we're close to doing that now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's how it was with mine. There were no new teams this week, just a few little changes.
Maybe let me rephrase that. I feel like 1 through 7 might be locked, and then 8, 9, and 10, we could still have some differentials if Mount Carmel drops a couple or if Scripps Ranch, or like but 1 through 7 or 8 maybe even feel.
Yeah, I think it's just tough up top because you have a modern day Catholic who's locked into Division III where.
Unless they want all the smoke.
Where I'd love if they were eligible for D1, but they're not. That's how it works. So
happy though that they're D3, low key happy that they're D3 because D2 is a nice little race on its own.
Yeah.
So we will get interesting playoffs that yield us hopefully quality state reps. Open 1, 2, and 3. So Tommy though 10 to 1.
Yeah, 10 to 1. We got Eastlake at number 10, Mission Hills at number 9. Unfortunately, Gunnar Hensley injured himself on Friday night. Seems to be pretty serious, so I think the season's probably done. Great player, good kid, so we wish him the best. But, credit to Mission Hills. They're stuck in that game against Carlsbad, who I'll give it away right now. I have them as number 1. So that is, hopefully a good omen for the rest of the season that they'll be able to hang in there even without their star quarterback. Number 8, I have Madison. 7 is Scripps Ranch. 6, Torrey Pines. 5, Helix. 4, Modern Day, as you mentioned. And like I said, it's going to be tough for them to jump up or down because even, Lincoln's going to have some. I think Lincoln plays Cathedral towards the end of the season. I don't see either of them getting jumped by Modern Day regardless of who wins that game. So they're just stuck there pretty much.
If Lincoln beats Cathedral, does Modern Day become number 1? Is an interesting question because
Lincoln
Cathedral
does.
would be number 2. Cathedral would be 2 losses. Lincoln would
3.
Cathedral would
Two
be
out of
3
section.
losses. Lincoln would be 1 or 2 losses at that point, and Modern Day would be undefeated, hypothetically.
Yeah, sure. I still think you would have to.
That would be a weird scenario.
Well, for
that
me,
would be a fun to debate scenario if we could ever actually get there. But let's not bog.
For
down.
me, it would catapult Lincoln to 1 over Carlsbad. That's what it would do. Number 2 is where'd I get? Oh yeah, so 6, Torrey Pines. 5 is Helix. 4 is Modern Day. 3 is Lincoln. 2 Cathedral. And again, there's been some flack about this because, yes, they've lost twice, but the 2 teams who've lost are really good. So there's really not much you can say about that. They're 2 teams that would probably be the best team in San Diego, so it is what it is. And number 1 is Carlsbad. Honestly, the fact I almost switched them because the Carlsbad didn't win by as much as I thought they would against Mission Hills, but they're still number 1 for me until they lose.
Bodie?
Yeah, so for me, I'll start at number 1. I've kept Cathedral there. I was at the Centennial game. It's not an indictment on Cathedral. It's that Centennial's got a really good team. Whether or not they compete with Mater Dei Bosco, who knows? But and then losing to De La Salle too. That's a top 7-8 team in the state. Tough to go up there. I just can't push that against them when the two San Diego teams they've played are both really good in Torrey Pines and Helix, and they've handled them. So until someone from San Diego can really give them a better game, I just have to keep them at number one. So for number 2, I have Carlsbad there. It's really close between them and Lincoln, but I had Carlsbad there to start the season. They're 5-0. A couple of them have been close, but until they get challenged or are taken down, I didn't see a reason to move them. Lincoln at 3, Mater Dei Catholic at 4, and Torrey Pines at 5. Those were the really only movement this week. They each moved up. Well, I dropped Mission Hills to 6. Tommy mentioned the unfortunate injury to Gunnar Hensley. They do have the bye week this week, so hopefully they can figure out offensively what they're going to do in the remainder of their league season. Scripps Ranch is at 7, Madison at 8, Mount Carmel at 9 for me, and then Eastlake at 10. Really looking forward to see Mount Carmel, what they can do. Early on, I wouldn't have thought before the season that that's a league they would have been able to compete for the top with, but as we've moved on to the year, I think those games against Poway, Rancho Bernardo, those will be fun here in the next couple of weeks.
Also very popular bye week.
Yeah.
For the league season for most leagues, so this is a very large bye week. Pretty much, the majority of leagues start next week, so a lot of teams on byes.
We'll put it on the poll at SD Prep Insider on Twitter, on Instagram, is saying someone handled, quote unquote, a team, a polite way of saying they got their butt kicked. All in. No cap, all break, or no brakes, all gas, whatever you say about how quickly Wesleyan has done the turnaround there at Mount Carmel. And that's hopefully something that's not just that he has Jaden Virgin in like a good senior class and then there's like a leveling off and then he has to rebuild his swag. Hopefully that's he built up a lot of good karma and then got screwed, and then the football gods immediately said, here, a team with which you can immediately win. I do think it's interesting, Bodie, you mentioned the struggle to vote against Cathedral.
Yeah.
Because of how good the teams they are playing. I feel like we have not had a ton of those signature wins cross-section like we have the last couple of years, like the Los Alamitos or San Clemente. Like there was a couple of those types of wins. San Diego just haven't been bringing them home this year. And that's tough to then turn around and say, well, that's not a knock on our section. That's just that our teams are playing like the best possible.
Yeah, I mean, looking through it, like
it's absurd.
La Costa Canyon and Oceanside, they both lost to San Clemente. Torrey Pines game was canceled against them. Grossmont went up to Warren, who has a 5-star quarterback, Nico Iamaya-Leva, something close to that.
Nailed it.
But and look, some of these Southern Section teams, they're really good at. You can't just assume that you just get one of these wins. I know Helix this week is going up to Servite. They have Mission Viejo in a couple weeks. Like, it's not your typical Helix team that you'd think, oh, like they can take them down.
Like back into it a little bit.
Though. Yeah, Helix is definitely a team on the rise. I don't think they're ready for that open division yet.
Are we more in on the Kai Jesse experiment for him to be pushed all in as the starting quarterback in that spring?
Ryland Jesse,
sorry. I saw the look on Bodie's face, and I was like, oh, either he transferred to somewhere or I've got the wrong name. The Ryland Jesse. I feel like that was something that people are like, whoa, Helix, they're going to start a freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
Are we more on board collectively that that's starting to actually pay off now than I think people were like, that was ready to hit the panic button week one this season?
Last year that was an accident. I mean, not an accident. It was a fortunate thing with COVID because that should have been Tyler Buckner, and that should have been a good year for Jesse to play JV and then maybe a tiny bit of varsity. But that was not supposed to be his year playing varsity. So.
Yeah, you throw him in, and it's not the perfect way for him to start last year, but I think there's definitely signs of him improving, and especially these next 2 years as the pieces around him continue to improve. I mean, Helix had so many guys not play during the spring season, so that is definitely going to hurt development. But all indications are that he's a guy, and this experience from his first 2 seasons will definitely pay off these last 2.
And Ryland, I am sorry. I know who you are. I do apologize. I ask it because I think that a lot of people didn't necessarily understand that Robbie Owens, being the gambler that he is, was making a calculated move and saying, I don't care there is no championship on the line in this spring season, so I'm going to take this to get this kid all of the experience I possibly can. And the fact that a Cathedral, Carlsbad, Saint, like any of those, Mission Hills, if any of those schools are starting a freshman quarterback in a normal season, you go, whoa.
Right.
So the fact that they're now got a sophomore starting who has 5 varsity games under his belt feels like, in the end, all of our, is Helix like coming back down to earth is no. This is a coach that just saw no reason to worry about a season where there was no championship on the line and is playing 3D chess when all of us are playing, tiddlywinks.
Spring practice.
Yeah.
Spring practice. That was 7-on-7 season.
Yep. Moving ahead, the remaining undefeated teams. I don't want to ask best one because I think that maybe limits our discussion category, but I do want to ask, guys, of the teams still undefeated, who do you see as having the easiest or best road to actually remaining undefeated?
I'm never going to use the word easiest when it comes to finishing.
That's why I immediately self-corrected and
took
took easiest out of there.
I'm going to go with Santa Fe Christian here. They're currently 5-0 bye week. Then they have Bishops. I think that's probably going to be their toughest task, will be that first game after the bye week. A lot of advantages that they have. First of all, they have a unique offense. They run the 1970s, 80s offense, which back then everyone ran. Now nobody runs it, so it's harder for defenses to adjust to it. It requires better tackling. It requires a more physical defense, which a lot of schools are not used to anymore because everything's spread out and it's become a lot more like, I don't want to call it flag football, but it's a lot more open field and it's a lot less.
I don't think that's an insult anymore.
No,
I think if you'd said that a decade ago, people would have been like, "Oh man, you're not taking that seriously." Now they're like, "Okay, I totally."
It's just different when you have 11 guys lined up trying to slam the ball down your throat versus you trying to isolate an athlete. It's just a different way of approaching the game. So they have that going for them, and like I said, it also creates on the flip side not tougher kids, but better tacklers or kids who are not scared to go, group of kid against group of kid because they're used to doing it in practice every single day. So they've always had that advantage ever since I can remember. And I think they have the quote unquote best route to remain undefeated this season.
Yeah, it would be tough to pick against Santa Fe Christian. I definitely think they have the best route to get there, but I wouldn't discount that we see multiple teams do it. Looking around Mater Dei Catholic, they will have 2 league games with Otay Ranch and East Lake that certainly will give them a challenge there. Mount Carmelo would be tough to see them get by Rancho Bernardo and Poway, though if they do, that would be super impressive and definitely would put them in the mark to make a CIF championship run. And I think with Carlsbad, they'll have the bye this week. When they come back, they'll host Torrey Pines, but after that, it'll be El Camino, Oceanside, La Costa Canyon, and San Marcos. So 4 games you would expect them to win beyond that. So I don't think it's out of the question for San Marcos or for Carlsbad to do that as well.
You know what would be really awesome too? Right now, West Hills and Santana both undefeated.
Stealing my
sorry.
I'm sorry, intern. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I've got them open. I'm
just gonna say that'd be an epic. I think it's the second last game of the year. That'd be pretty.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say.
To me, intern's mad at me for They're stealing your thunder.
She's scared that I freaked out. I'm sorry, intern. I'm sorry. Santana and West Hills is a great one to me. Those teams are going to be 9-0 when they play each other for the City Cup.
What do they call
Mayor's
it?
Cup.
Well, it's called.
Yeah, I need an index of all the different.
If only there was someone in East County we could call.
He doesn't respond to any of our texts or calls this year. I don't think what is Adam Paul up to is quite as applicable of a game. Kingsley, hey, come here. I'll give you another one. I promise you, I'm not. I was mad at Tommy. Not That's what you get. You steal my Santana thunder.
My goodness.
I apologize for that.
You know what? She hasn't gotten to biology class in school yet, so I don't think
she gets fixed this week.
She'll.
So
she basically fixed me on accident.
Karma will get even with her in a couple days. But yeah, the West Hills Santana thing to me is really cool.
Yeah.
I gotta say that history says West Hills will win that game, but this is a really good Santana team. But also, if it's a 9-0 West Hills team or 8-0, like. Man, that's tough. But I love the fact that those two will be undefeated meeting each other.
Yeah, there's a handful of games that you don't want to look too far ahead, but in that final week are pretty interesting at this point. Second to last. Okay,
they are second to last week of the season, so it'll be 8-0 for both of those teams.
Okay.
So
Well, we're not disrespect their opponents in between.
But I was going to say, God help El Cajon Valley or whoever comes after that game for either one of those teams, because someone's going to get unloaded, like a post-unload destruction.
Yeah, I mean, that's El Cap for another one. I think El Cap's a good team in that league, so that'll be pretty interesting.
El Cap took down RBV.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
You could go 1-9, and that be your one win, and I would still be scared of you in the playoffs, as like that team does hypothetically know how to bring it.
Yeah.
The other one that I would like to ask, and this one's even way more wide open, but best team sub 500. Because footballs aren't round and balls bounce weird and schedules suck. But that's another one where that's like, I don't want to use easiest, and I don't want to say necessarily best, because it's impossible to know sometimes with teams that lose guys and players and have transfers and grades and weather and the sun was in their eyes and like
I got it.
There's a lot of stuff, but I do think that there are one or two teams right now that I'd be curious what you guys think.
I'll pick a 1-4 team. I'll go Steel Canyon. I know their last 2 weeks have not been impressive. They were
the one that caused me to want to ask this question.
Yeah, they almost beat Eastlake. They did beat San Marcos, another team that has struggled early this season. But it's hard to tell sometimes because this isn't college football. This isn't NFL football. So sometimes there's injuries that don't go reported. The last 2 weeks have not been their best, but early in the season, those are two games they almost took away from top 10 teams. So I think this is far and away the answer is Steel Canyon.
I was going to Buddy, please.
Yeah, El Camino's one that I look at. They've only been able to get in 3 games so far. There's been some frustrations with positive tests. They weren't at full strength against Grossmont. But this is a team that I think as they move into league play here, they get Eastlake this week and further in the Avocado League, that they will trip someone up. There'll be some games when their offense and defense are both clicking. I think that this is a team that can play with most teams in the county. It's just too often they've been inconsistent so far.
Mine was going to be Sweetwater at 0-3 right now, but that includes a loss to Grossmont, who is several divisions above them, and then 2 one-score losses to a Coronado, which 70-plus points, good grief. Also seeing them as others to, like, they were listed on John Maffey's others to consider for top 10 voting, which...
Yeah, it's been a while.
I'd love to know the last time Coronado was put in that vote. And then a 1-touchdown loss to Santana.
Yeah. And
we're talking about Santana 5 minutes ago being an undefeated, potentially team. So shout out to Sweetwater at 0-3 being... that's a hang with them type season. You want one of those dubs. Game predictions? All right. Mission Bay. Appreciate you guys. We have officially made the invites for Mission Bay and Scripps to come on the show. So hopefully we will meet Jax Leatherwood soon and be able to meet whoever clipped out that segment from Mission Bay Football for Twitter. You have inspired Bodie. You've inspired Bodie to quote, "Say less." Let's dive into some of this. Kind of a weird down week, like you said, bye weeks happening for a lot of teams. So some new ones: Eastlake and El Camino. Perfect timing. Eastlake's in the top 10. El Camino's the sub 500 spotlight that we had. Bodie, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I remember a couple of years ago when these teams played, there was that unfortunate brawl. So hopefully things have moved on between these two at this point.
Weren't these two also Eastlake's championship game? Or El Camino, the one that El Camino won? Wasn't this one of the two that El Camino won?
I don't remember. Probably.
Bishops was one.
Yeah, the rain one. I thought the one in the rain was...
Jeez, there have been too many championships.
I got that one.
Anyways, yeah, with this game, it's definitely a defensive matchup. I think we could see something where the first team, maybe to 20-17, is ultimately the winner here. Eastlake's Trey White, just such a game changer on both sides of the ball. Defensively, you have to account for him because he's probably good for a strip sack every game. And with the way these offenses work and the limited possessions, you got to be careful with him. And then El Camino's quarterback, Kaya Reed, super experienced, led them to their title 2 years ago. And El Camino's going to be super physical. They've got huge line. And
called it. December 1st of 2017. In the rain.
So obviously history with these two. And I'm going to go Eastlake here 17-14.
Tommy?
Eastlake, Jaden Kendricks and Christian Aguilar both have 33 tackles. Love that. El Camino coming off a bye week. I mean, I think, an artificial bye week this time.
Well rested.
They're well rested and ready to go. Again, like you mentioned, hopefully they're at full strength. It's hard to pick this game without knowing that because you don't know who's in, who's out. I'll go with El Camino in this one. Eastlake, I think, has 7 interceptions so far this season, which is far too many for my liking. I don't like turnovers, so I'm going to go with El Camino here. And I guess you call us an upset because we've all got Eastlake in the top 10, but El Camino, we haven't really seen them yet. We've only seen them for 3 games, so I got El Camino in this one.
Eastlake, it's hard. I hate picking defensive teams. This is the reason why I picked against El Camino for 2 years worth of them winning championships. Is at the high school level, I just get concerned about when you're talking about winning a 17-10 game.
How consistently can you do that?
Yeah, like this is not the Ravens defense. You can't, like, these guys are not confirmed elite. Like you're catching a bunch of good kids at a decent time. But that being said, I have to lean slightly toward them because they've won all of the defensive games that they've been in this year, and I like the direction that the 6th administration in the last 2.5 years is doing there at Eastlake. RBV versus Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel is a team that both of you guys highlighted as could potentially look at closing in on undefeated, but you had only circled Poway and RB as the potential problems for them. So you see RBV as not being a problem for them.
Well, I will be at this game.
So you did not tell me that in advance. So let's pass on that, and I'll find you a new one.
I'm happy to talk about it.
No, you can talk about it, but I need a pick for you for our scoreboard.
Bodie picks a tie.
I haven't seen either of these teams in person in a few years, and this is a perfect week to get out there because it's 2 programs that are definitely having a resurgence this year. It's been really cool to see Mount Carmel get out to the start they have. Coming off the bye week, they haven't allowed a point in 9 quarters now. So things are definitely moving in the right direction for them, and really excited to see what Jaden Virgin does on Friday night. And RBV on the other side, outside of that loss against LCAP, they've looked really impressive, and a team that hasn't won 5 games in quite some time. So this will be the last non-league matchup, but looking forward to this one on Friday.
I got to keep filibustering while I give my selection.
That's fine. I can filibuster a little bit with my pick.
Oh, please.
So, yeah, Mount Carmel, what I like about them is they spread the ball around a lot. They've had 3 different ball carries with 147 yards or more, 4 different pass catchers with 12 or more receptions. So you can't come into this game thinking one kid's going to get the ball because they do like to share the wealth a little bit. So that's what I like for them. Offense, Bodie already mentioned the defense. I think this is going to be a tight one, though. I think it's going to be something like 21-14 Mount Carmel with RBV at the ball at the end with a chance to tie it up. I don't think this is going to be – I mean, we did – like you said, Christian, we did mention the 2 teams that we thought of Mount Carmel's schedule would be the trickiest, but this is not a look-past game because RBV is good. The loss to LCAP, LCAP is a much-improved team as well, so it's not what you think when you hear LCAP based off how they've played, in the past 3 or 4 years. So I do like Mount Carmel here by a touchdown, but I don't think it's going to be by any means a blowout game.
Freaking everybody I have clicked on.
Lots of buys.
Is on buys. I'm trying to. I will.
You want me to go pick my own?
No, because I got to pick one that he hates. I got to pick a. Jesus.
I don't hate anyone. I just got to do some quick research.
Escondido Valley Center.
Okay.
And then while you do that, I will fill in that. Man, I can't go against the undefeated one here. That has been my consistent logic through a lot of these. Is I like Granite Hills until they took an L. I like teams until they take that first L, and then I can reevaluate and be
Mount
more
Carmel
realistic. Undefeated
at home, coming off a bye. It would be tough to go against them, but
and even then, that's not a 4-2 RBV is not saying that you dislike or don't think that team's good. You're just sometimes it's not a winnable situation. Next game we had is Sanya Sidrow versus Chula Vista. Sanya Sidrow, Coach Aguiwan, after decently long uphill battle to get a solid program footing underneath him. They could be looking at like a deep playoff run, maybe. I don't know. I will say that they as much as Chula is picking up steam and getting a little bit better now that they've gotten more consistent reps, I think that Sanya Sidrow wins this one again and puts another W in the column. Tommy?
I will. Whoa, hey. We're doing an intern. I will agree with you, Sandy. Like I just mentioned, the past game, Sanya Sidrow has had 7 different players score a rushing touchdown, led by spreading the ball around, as I mentioned in the last game. It's led by Matthew, Jamie, and Mekhi Jackson, who each have 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards apiece. So I like Sanya Sidrow. You know, they have made strides in this program in the last couple of years as far as building up just the roster base and having multiple levels and all this kind of stuff. So huge fan of what they're doing over there at Sanya Sidrow. I like them in this one in what I will call a 21-20 victory over Chula Vista. Win by an extra point.
Yeah, I will go Sanya Sidrow as well. I think that they've got a really good chance to take the league championship this year and make a somewhat decent playoff run. What I would look ahead at is the team you just spotlighted with Sweetwater. You see that they're 0-3, but I don't think that means a whole ton when they match up. I think that's a team that will definitely give Sanya Sidrow a game. But as for this week, I like Sanya Sidrow over Chula Vista. I will go 28-17.
Coach Clark from San Pasquale, a big fan of the show, has suggested that we start including over-unders. Just because
I will try. I will try. I literally will try.
I'll tell you where this the genesis
Why,
of this
he likes offense
is from one of his games that we had. It was I want to say it was San Pasquale Valley Center. We did one of the San Pasquales as our pick'ems earlier this year, and he just texted me afterwards. You should have taken the over because they put up like 70 on the scoreboard, and I'm like, that's the flex now, huh? It's not just the score predictions, but hammer the over with Coach Clark is on offense. Last game we got Tommy and his Country Day Tories are taking on Crawford. What do we like here, Bodie?
Yeah, Country Day, ever since week 1, they had to fill in that game. They went up to Temescal Canyon, I believe it was, and really fought a team that I didn't think they would be as competitive against. And offensively, these last couple of years, it doesn't matter who's been playing at quarterback. It really just seems they're able to move the ball, spread it around to several different receivers. So they're a team that I think will continue that this week. Again, I think they'll put up a lot of points. Maybe this is one where you take the over, as you just mentioned. But I'm looking at 5 or 6 touchdowns at least for Country Day this week.
Over under set at 52.
Oh, I'm over.
Okay. Just had to put it out there.
Tommy?
If that's close, by the way, we'll start doing more. If it's way off, I'll reevaluate. I kind of just came up with that right there on the spot.
I like that.
Baz Sulpizio is a name. No one can say it. I'm pretty sure I got it. I'm pretty sure I've got it. For Country Day, 349. If I don't, then I'm really dumb. 349 yards per game and 4.25 touchdowns per game. Got to get that correct when Country Days involved. Make sure the math's good there. 6 touchdowns by Charlie Gooding himself. That's a sophomore. We'll be hearing his name, I think, a bunch for the next couple of years. Crawford has a pretty good defense, though. Coach Mooney over there is a great defensive coordinator. Mohammed has 3 sacks at defensive end so far for the Colts. He is a big boy. I think he's listed at 6'4", 200, and he looks every bit of that as well. I've seen him in person. Big, strong kid, so they're going to have to watch out for him. On the end, they're going to have to get rid of the ball fast because he is coming with a full head of steam. I do like Country Day in this one. I think Crawford is much improving. Similar situation as Sidrow, where they're still building the program. I think the new field has helped. I think Coach Marquez has done a great job. They have a JV team this year. So all good things coming out of Crawford, but I think they're not there yet. They're not quite there yet offensively to be able to keep up with the firepower that Country Day has. So I like them by
Loki is good this year. Like
they're good, and I think
like good.
Yeah,
with
and
like multiple O's and like an underline.
And it's not that they haven't suddenly gotten this huge roster like others have. Like it's just they've got some good pieces there, and they're all working well together.
And Bishops and SFC, they have generations where it takes and Modern Day to an extent even had this where it just takes a couple years, and then you get those freshmen and sophomores bigger and stronger.
But and also at a school like Country Day, when it's a smaller school and kids are playing multiple sports, when you have a COVID season like last year, kids had to pick.
Yeah.
This year they don't have to do that. I think this is the first time in a couple of years they've had a true JV team. So we're seeing that a lot this year, which is a positive thing for football in general. A lot of schools that were having trouble fielding 2 levels can now do it. So or in 3 levels in some schools' cases. So that is a plus. That's a plus for that program as well. And again, when your quarterback's only a junior and putting up numbers like this, that is a very good sign.
Well, and we miss him dearly when he's not with us, but our compadre Noah Lax loves the JV scores. That's his like go-to for early season analysis every year. He's like, man, last year their JV team was 8-2. They're gonna be good, and you're like, Okay, no, we'll see. We'll see. Anything that we missed about this week in high school football, high school sports, anything to get to? Bodie, anything cool coming up on Scorebook Live that you can plug for the people?
Yeah, just put it out yesterday, the top 30 receivers in the state. Ooh. Obviously, you guys are San Diego focused as we are down here. So there are 3 of the top 30 from San Diego.
Is this all grades or is this just
yep,
seniors?
all grades throughout the whole state.
Sure
so a lot of
valiantly,
a lot of talented players, and we're going position by position. So make sure you check it out because we got San Diego guys in every position group.
Any San Diego guy number 1 in any of these rankings?
So far, no. We've only done. Let's see. Last week was quarterback, running back, offensive line, receivers yesterday, and now we'll switch over to defense. But a lot of San Diego guys throughout, but not at number 1 yet.
Will there be a San Diego guy at number 1?
I would think a linebacker.
Yeah, linebacker's definitely an option. Haven't finalized that list yet. So
Dre and Dixon. Thought I'd get both of you to laugh. I apologize. I don't apologize. I never apologize for my bad takes. But if those guys are done talking, I think I'm done, and we'll say see you guys next week.